This piece isn't new, but I don't read it all that often, so. And if there are any new parents here, I'm not a student. So, recently, I was asked in a grant application what I thought my role as an artist was today and in the future. And all I could think about were the slave ships. And the tide that brought the boat to the shore. The sun that burnt their backs, the shackles on their feet, the sea that must have tasted like their sweat, and I know that somewhere in the belly of that wooden whale was a song that some slave held dear to his heart, hid beneath his tongue, songs that sung of sorrow but knew hymns of joy, rhythms that leapt from his fingertips while plucking King Cotton from his womb, a song that saved him even with chains on his feet. And I know. Recently, in a workshop I was teaching, I was asked what I thought the job of the poet is. And I knew that in the back of the room was a slightly overweight girl, sadness clinging to her eyes, along with the rings of another night from no sleep. She's 16 and just lost her premature baby because her body wasn't ready to carry the full term. And the first time she talked about it was in a poem she just handed to me. Or Carlos, who hates his teachers, hates getting picked on, hates the way he looks in the mirror, and sometimes hates his parents. But instead of getting a gun, he picks up a pen and he writes until there's no more ink left in the pen, no more paper to write, no more trees to make papyrus, no more tears left in his eyes, nothing but the word on paper and the written Band-Aid across his heart. He writes like his life depends on it. But it's mine that he's saving. It's the young boys in the prison system at creative writing classes who just found whole new worlds through the writings of Lorca and Hughes, and through their twisted linguistics, they trained the poetics of Jay-Z and Eminem into the rebirth of hip-hop with Lorca and Langston bobbing their heads in a writer's heaven that I am working to achieve. It's writing a poem for my children and knowing that one day they will read it and know their daddy loved them because he wrote for them with his blood. And I know. Lately I've been asking myself what I thought my role as an artist was today and in the future. How the bright lights and wide stages seem to call my name everywhere I go. How poetry has moved from stuffy readings attended by blue-haired ladies into bars attended by blue-haired girls with tattoos stretched across their backs. From personal videos to MTV, to BET, to HBO, to Broadway, to how badly I wanted to, but sometimes my fingers can't reach. And I know that 10 years back, in a small apartment on the south side of Chicago, a 20-year-old man-child picked up a pen because he was lonely. He writes about missing his southern home, sweet tea and oppressive heat, with no thoughts of screaming crowds, TV cameras, and big money and notoriety. He writes because it's all he has left. He writes because it feels better than tears. He writes because there's a homeless man on the corner who needs to sing, but he doesn't have a voice. So he's got to sing it for him. He writes like his life depends on it, because it does. As the pen stretches across geographic, social, racial, and economic boundaries, I am reaching for something greater than myself, bigger than the bright lights of the Great White Way, and more long-lasting than 3 minutes on cable TV, and deeper than a crowd's approval, and more sacred than I have the right to carry. And that is when I know that my purpose is not about me, but the slave on that ship, the grieving mother, the Carloses of this world, the kids in the correctional facilities, my children, a homeless man on the corner, and you, and you, and you, and we, and us, and us, and we, saving each other, one time to the next, and the next, stretching forward across infinity, struggling to save one heartbeat, one soul, one person, one love, one world, and one poem at a time.